Okay, so the other one, season 2, episode 2. So it opens with, you see Cat is calling Colin. He says to be returning her calls. And, you know, she's kind of getting kind of frustrated because she wants to have a relationship with him. So while she's sitting in the car calling Colin, Cathy went into the dry cleaners to get her clothes because she is going back to work the next day. So it's just be her first time back to work.
Why are you dry cleaning a vest?
It's a camisole. I want to look smart AF when I go back to work tomorrow.
So, Cathy got in the car, Cat asked her, asked her to place an order at the restaurant across the street so she'd be the first to get the order because she's on her last final whatever warning with Deliveroo.
I need to boost my ratings, babe. I'm on my last final ultimate warning at work and I'm this close to being locked out of the app.
So she did that. She got the order. Of course, it was a whole debacle because she didn't get bags and she's trying to carry all the stuff in her hands, dropped some stuff, stepped on some stuff. It was a mess. So we get to Marilyn's house and she is sick of Angela. Angela didn't stay in her couch. She didn't stay in her shirt. She just doing the most. And she's like, girl, when you leave, I want you got to get up out of here.
Right. I know your husband's throwing you out, but when are you leaving?
And so Angela was like, girl, my credit card comes tomorrow. Once I get my card, I'm going to go to a hotel. And this is going to be a thing of the past. So while they're going back and forth, Cathy and Cat arrive. You can kind of faintly hear Cathy on the phone leaving a message for someone regarding her dad's pension.
Urgent because without his pension, my mum doesn't have an income. So his name was Colin Walcott. So yeah.
Colin eventually returns Cat's call. Basically said that, he needs some space and he's just trying to work things out. But he did relent and agreed to meet with them later on that day. I think it was later on that day or the next day. So, Cat she's at work and she's picking up an order and her nemesis / I guess her ex-friend, Patience, is picking up an order as well.
Bet you didn't expect to see me here.
Oh, piss off, Patience.
And, they're going back and forth a little bit. And she was surprised to see Patience because apparently Patience had been out of work for a minute. And so Patience was like, yeah, I did 6 months. And Cat was like, girl, you was on maternity leave. Why are you acting like you went to the pen?
I didn't know you were back working.
Yeah, I did my 6 months.
Why are you saying it like you were in prison? You was on maternity leave.
And so, they talked a little bit. And so, of course, Patience had to let her know that everybody's talking about Cat and everybody knows that Cat is on her absolute last final warning.
You've been late so many times that you're on your last final ultimate warning. Sad face emoji.
And so they kind of have a little tete-a-tete back and forth and they part ways on that. So Cathy is her first day back and all she can think about is having this conversation with Jennifer, her supervisor, about this promotion. But Jennifer ends up giving her this gift because nobody at work knows that this wedding didn't happen. So they had this wedding gift made. It's this jacked up painting that's actually kind of frightening.
I really think I caught your spirit there. My lodger said it looks like you got a birthmark, but it's actually shadows.
And she's like, girl, we're going to go to lunch. We're going to talk all about this wedding because Jennifer's all excited about weddings and birthdays and celebrations and stuff like that. So Angela ends up drunk calling Peter. And once he hears her voice, he hangs up on her. So she falls asleep briefly with a cigarette in her hand. And she ends up lighting Marilyn's couch on fire.
Sorry.
That was the last straw for Marilyn. Marilyn's like, no, you leaving up out of here today. Andrew's like, okay, well, you got to drive me home. Initially, Marilyn's like, I ain't taking you nowhere. And until Angela promised her a 3,000-pound couch. So, okay, so.
What if I give you a 3,000-pound sofa?
So Jennifer and Cathy are now at lunch. And, she's asking her about the wedding. And she's kind of not really answering the questions about the wedding because she wants to talk about the promotion. And eventually, Jennifer takes the time to offend her a few times in this conversation. One, she was like, well, why would you want that promotion when you're about to have the greatest job of all, being a mommy? So, of course, Cathy felt some kind of way, rightly so.
The director, aggregate excess of loss products. When you can have the greatest job of them all, being a mummy.
And then Cathy was like, so what are you saying? If I was a man, I would get this promotion? And then she takes time to be offensive and disgusting again by saying, well, if you're a man, we'd be on this table because you make quite a handsome man. And so she got so upset, she ended up going to the bathroom. And while she was in the bathroom, the person finally returned her call about the pension. And basically, Cathy didn't have any of the information that they needed. And they told her, you don't have the information, so I can't really give you any information.
If you haven't got any proof of ID or address or the original paperwork, I can't help you.
So in her frustration, she ended up dropping her phone. And she went down to pick her phone up and busted her nose. And nose was bleeding everywhere. So, Angela, they finally get to Angela's house, and of course she doesn't know the pin, so Marilyn basically had to hoof her over the gate, and she fell kind of hard and hurt her leg.
1, 2.
So Cat ends up having to pick Cathy up from work. Jennifer is like kind of administering some first aid and basically saying that she's trying to keep her awake, and Cathy is basically saying, "Oh, I'm good." And then Jennifer says, "Oh, we tried to call Marcus, but he didn't answer." And this is when Cat accidentally let the cat out the bag, and she didn't know that they didn't know. It was like, why are you calling him? They're not even married. She got stood up.
Why did you call that, Mel?
Well, he's a husband. He's down as a next of kin.
It's not her husband. He dumped her at the altar.
And now Jennifer's acting all offended and put out like, girl, you know this. I'm all excited about. She loves weddings, and she felt like she had been betrayed in some way. This is after she had this offensive conversation with her over lunch about this promotion, right? So as they were leaving, Cat was helping Cathy in the car. Cathy was trying to encourage her to find another job. And basically, Cat ends up admitting that she didn't take her end of term exams, and she's really not qualified for much else.
If you must know, I never did my maths GCSE. So my options are delivering takeaways or become a jug mule.
So they back at Angela's house. Marilyn ends up having to break the window and having to go through the window to let Angela in the house.
We go in, pick the settee I want, and I shall meet you back at the front door.
So Cathy and Cat go to pick up Colin, and while they're waiting for him to come out, Cathy ends up encouraging Cat to go back to school, and she even said she would go with her to, be an encouragement. And Cat eventually agrees.
Oh, come on, Cat. We can be like the Middleton sisters of maths.
Right, fine. Right, but I'm the one with the great arse, yeah?
So back at Angela's house, she finally walks in, and she realized that Peter... At this point, she's not sure whether where her marriage stands, if they ever going to reconcile. All her shit is bagged up and boxed up, and this is when you finally see Marilyn kind of soften when she see how hurt Angela was.
It's over.
Oh, Angela, I'm so sorry.
So Cathy and Colin, they're sitting in the car talking, and she tried to do the same thing she did with Cathy earlier by having Colin place an order so she could be the first to get the order. Unfortunately, Colin placed the order on Uber Eats instead of Deliveroo, and Patience got the order, and then when she realized that it was Cat in the car, she just cracked up laughing and just went on and gave Colin his order. So, back at Marilyn's house, they apparently got all her stuff and her 3,000-pound couch. How they got that couch out there is anybody's guess. And, you can see them kind of, Marilyn's kind of listening to some of the records, and seem like they are developing somewhat of, dare I say, a friendship.
Oh, sorry, I went through your records.
It's fine.
Okay. So, Cathy and Colin and Cat, they're on their way because Cat's just trying to get another order because she doesn't want to be suspended or because she's on her last final whatever warning. And on the way, she see Patience at a house that she had gone to earlier where this guy was a pervert. He had pulled his pants down and he flashed her. So she went over, and Cathy is telling the guy off, and just as she walked up, Patience looked up and saw this man had pulled his pants down. They were both disgusted. And she asked for Patience's helmet. She was like, girl, you gonna get fired if you do anything. She was like, girl, I'm already fired. So she ended up taking the helmet and smashing the man's windshield, and they both ran. So we get back to the house, and Angela and Marilyn are talking, and you've realized that Angela didn't really know Colin all like that. She said they only met twice. Once when, they hooked up, and the other time when he showed up at her house just out of nowhere, trying to find out why she wasn't returning his phone calls.
It's the first time when we shagged, and then the second time when he turned up at my house, demanding to know why I hadn't returned his call.
And so this episode kind of ended with them, Cat ended up getting fired.
I'm officially sacked.
And Cathy ends up passing out from her head injury, and they end up having to rush her to the hospital.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we need to get to the hospital.